to Day to Day Knits, episode 35? 35. I have 4 bits of news. Let's start with the worst bits of news. I have moths. I have not found eggs or larvae. I've looked all over my yarn that is now in the freezer. I've looked all over my clothes that have now been washed and dried. But I have set out traps and I found them on the traps. I have now cedar oil everywhere, cedar bits, cedar shavings, little things with, what do you call that? That plant with the purple flowers. Lavender. They might be living on the carpet. I have several rooms that are carpeted. And they made the poor choice of getting carpet that is white and beige, which is literally the color of the moths. It is basically perfect camouflage for moths. The first time I found one, it was right next to an open window. And I thought, oh, it must have come in through the open window. And then I decided to pay attention to my moth traps that I had set out just in case. The one up here where I keep my yarn, usually, did not have any moths. The one downstairs in my bedroom had 1 moth, and the one in the closet didn't have any moths. Then the one in my bedroom got 3 moths. And I decided, because my closet trap did not catch anything, I decided to bring it up here. And a few days later, it had moths, and the other one that I had here before also had moths. So, not good. We also put poison in the attic and in the unused attic area that we have like attic doors opening into, to hopefully like kill anything around here. Then obviously we'll open the windows, clear the air for a few days, etc. And then we're going to be doing that to the bedrooms. And Effie will obviously not be in the house, and neither will we. And my yarn is all frozen. I might unfortunately having to start keeping it in boxes so that I don't have to like, oh, every time I find something that could be a moth or a trace of a moth, take all of my yarn out, because I have so much yarn that it fills up my freezer and my mother-in-law's freezer and then some. I have not bought yarn since January. I'm very proud of myself. We are now in May. The reason I haven't done podcasts since March was because first, April was so crazy. I had something every single weekend. And it just, first, I didn't have time to podcast. And second, I did not have, the will to knit. I didn't knit for a few weeks. Sometimes I would carry something with me, but I never like felt like actually picking it up. So that's one piece of news. Another piece of news is that is now Joseph's and my anniversary of wedding. This is a piece of artwork that my mom did for our wedding, and this is something that Sherry, my mother-in-law, got for us on I think our first anniversary. It's basically a drawing of the two of us made by a lady that lives in a village in England. Or somewhere in the UK. I think it's England. I don't think it's Wales. I think it's England. But I cannot remember her name, so I cannot promote her. But basically she does like little like cartoons like that, or drawings that, people can have made. And this one is made by my friend Jane Olsen. You might remember her from episode 3. She's the one that taught me how to knit. And it is a watercolor version of my wedding bouquet, which had lots of like pinks and beiges and whites. Yeah. And then 2 other pieces of news. I have 2 patterns out. I know, it's crazy. One of them is the Summer Storm scarf. There are 2 versions of it within the same pattern. It is super easy to do, but you have to know how to read the chart. If you don't know how to read the charts, just watch a YouTube video. That's what I did when I first learned. And for that one, the version that you see a photo of is using some Shibui yarn. Can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was Cohen, but it doesn't matter. It was just a light summer fiber, and that's the longest version. It's the version that the scarf that you wrap around your neck. The shorter version is something that you could use to tie on your ponytail, or to wrap around your purse to just have like a little pop of color. And that one I don't have pictures of. I have one video of me wearing it as a ponytail on game day, and it was the colors of the team I was supporting. And I think they won that day, so maybe it is a lucky scarf. And that's it. There's 2 versions of it. It has lace, it has charts. It is easy to do, just have to pay attention to the charts. Then there's the Out of Sorts sweater. That one has been testing since end of January, early February. I had lots of testers. Over 40 people applied. Not everyone got in because I had so many people going for similar bust sizes. But the pattern itself does not have sizes. Basically what you do is it comes with a spreadsheet, and you fill out a spreadsheet with the dimensions that I ask you. In the pattern, there is both a description of the dimension, saying, for example, the widest circumference of your bust or something. And there is a picture that goes with it, so you don't get confused by my words if those are not helpful. So the spreadsheet is then going to tell you exactly how many stitches to cast on, exactly how many stitches to increase and when, and you don't have to think about it. It is really simple. Like, if you've never used spreadsheets, you might be afraid because it's something new, but it is not confusing. It's something that really tends to make the clothes fit better because it is just made for you. No one else is going to have your exact proportions and your exact dimensions. Even if 2 people have the same bust size, their waists are not going to be the same. Their torso height is not going to be the same. Some people have larger arms, some people have super skinny arms compared to everything else. Or different lengths as well. So there's really, in a way, it is much better, especially if you're the sort of person that has an issue frequently with the arms of sweaters being too tight, or say because you have a larger bust, maybe it says, oh, to always create an opening that is too tight. And what I'm doing is, because I'm making something that is much closer to your actual body, it has less ease. It's not one of those patterns that says, oh, 4 to 6 inches of ease, which is not really the sort of ease that I usually like, except for, summery things like this. Let's see, what else? Oh, it has a short row option, either do it or don't. And it has different gauges for that too. You want to make sure you get that right. Or just, choose not to do short rows if you don't want to do short rows. But basically there's a different gauge because the rest of the body and arms is color work. It is a super, super simple color work that you can memorize very easily. And then basically all you have to do is either look at your knitting, unless you're very good at knitting without looking at it, even color work. So this is a very good pattern to use both scraps or advents, or, you know, go by colors if you want to buy colors, like specific colors for it. It calls for 7 colors, but if you don't want to use that many contrasting colors, you know, just do your own thing. Or you could, instead of repeating 6 contrast colors over and over, you could just decide to have a contrast color every time you need to change color until the end of your sweater and never repeat them. You do you. But anyway, so because there are no sizes, I separated the test knitters by bust size, so you have a fairly good idea of how much yardage you need. All the dimensions there are the averages of each test knitter for that size, and then obviously added up and divided by the amount of test knitters. You have to think that, you know, each test knitter is going to have very different proportions, so it, you know, doesn't hurt to have a little extra yarn in case you need a little extra yarn. Obviously, this project, because it's using your own dimensions, will also work for children and babies. Anyway, let's talk about what I'm wearing. So this is the Cancun Boxy lace top, yes, by Kate Archer. It is, the pattern I think is free, and it only has one size. It's basically 2 rectangles knitted bottom up, and then you sew the sides and you sew the tops on each side. I did not do that because I don't like knitting flat. I'll avoid it if I can. And so what I did was I casted on basically the, what do you call it? The double amount of stitches for the bottom. Oh, I didn't swatch. So this might have ended up bigger than what it was supposed to. But basically I ended up casting on the double the amount of stitches in the pattern and knitting it around until I got to what I thought would be a good place to stop by looking at the picture. I looked at the picture, and around this area it looked like she had split for the sleeves. So that's what I did. There's no sleeves actually, as you can tell. But basically after that I knitted the front and the back flat, just back and forth, and then at the end I bound off using the 3 needle bind off, and then I casted off the front and the back, and then I picked it up, the 3 needle bind off on this side. I really like it. Today it's really warm because we're supposed to have a storm. It's really warm and really humid. So I'm wearing linen pants, and the stop that is the yarn is some leftovers I had by Berroco Modern Cotton Decay. And I think that's it. That's all I have to say about this sweater. I wanted to take it to my vacation, but ended up not being nearly close enough to finishing it on time. So I didn't. I finished it last night, and today I get to wear it. It was fun to knit. Basically it has very simple instructions. It tells you the sequence. It has a picture with a sequence of this is A, this is B, C, D. No, actually this should be A, but etc. until you get to the top. It has the sequence, and it says what to do in between each part of the sequence, which at the beginning I did not pay attention and did it wrong, but who cares, no one can tell. So that was that for that. Then I did the Rochella number 12 by, I don't remember, and I don't have it written down, but I provide the link for all these patterns. This is using Shibui Knits Vine in white. They also have Ivory, which is off-white. It is very simple. This one I got to wear on my vacation. And basically you knit the back, then you split for the front, and you knit those two at the same time, these 2 panels. And then you go to the side and you do the ribbing And then you basically just tie them so that it doesn't move around when you have it on. It's a little cardigan. I liked knitting it, and I have a little fluff here. But it was a bit hard with this yarn because it doesn't move very well on the needles. But now I just have this like summer light layering piece that will not make me hotter, but will add a little interest to whatever I'm wearing. People can't believe I knit this. They think, oh my god, that must be so hard. But it really isn't. It's like 2 stitches front and back. Super easy. If you're wanting to try something light just for fun, this might be a good piece, especially with the summer yarn. I don't know if I would do it in wool, because with wool I think that the little openings, the eyelets, would want to close. They would want to like stretch back into their normal shape. So I would suggest a summer yarn like that, something maybe with linen or silk, something like that. Excuse me. And then I knitted these socks. These are my excuse me, my Dreamy vanilla socks. I used Yarnable yarn that I've had for a while. I kept the yarn because I thought this would be a yarn that Joseph might like if he decides that he wants knitted socks. But he does not like knitted socks, so the yarn is now mine. The AC just kicked in. I thought I had turned it off. Anyway, this is my own pattern for socks that are knit toe up. It is super simple. It is a really cheap pattern. It's like $2. And it comes with a YouTube video. It's very good for people that are trying out socks for the first time, or people that just decide to try out doing toe-up socks. That is not, for some reason, the most popular way of doing socks, but it is my preferred way because you get to try them on for real. Like, you know exactly what you're getting as you try them on. You're not worrying about making the toes too soon or too late. You're not worried about running out of yarn. It's the best. And I've worn them since I finished them. I think I finished them last weekend. Okay, now this went through my sweater. Happens. And I have a whip. Well, I sort of have a whip. I have the beginning of what will be, and this is the color of my carpet. It's hard to find moths in something like this, but this is going to be the beginning of the Baltian sweater. It is by Caitlin Hunter. This yarn is Knit Picks Palette, and it is white, and in the screen to me it looked like ochre or like a burned yellow, and then when I got it, it wasn't yellow. It was, to me, it looked greenish. But now that I've started working with it, and that's why I sort of postponed working with it, because I did not like the yarn when it arrived. But now that I look at it, to me it's really just like beige or a very light brown. It looks good. And I'm going to use this Knit Picks palette with Luminance lace, also by Knit Picks. It's, I think, 100% silk, and I think I only have like 15 grams, something like that. And then I'm going to use Purl Soho Brume, which is a mohair and silk, and it is like this dark red, like almost winey, but like a ruby wine, not a purple wine. I think it's gonna be cute. I've done another pattern of Caitlin's before, and it went well. So I'm trying this one out, see how that goes. And I think that that's all that I have to talk about. I don't think there's anything else. Well, there you go. Not much at all. I can tell you that while I like working with this yarn, it is a little bit splitty. So there's that. Yeah, and I already got compliments on the sweater too. When I went to the plant store, at first I didn't hear the person because I was trying to help Joseph with something, but then he told the person, it was someone that just worked there, he said, "Oh, I don't think she heard you, but if she did, she'd tell you that she knitted herself." So silly, Joseph. I appreciate that he was paying attention, because I was not. And that's it. Next time I do this video, it will be in June. And what else about it? Hopefully I'll have the sweater then and I'll be able to wear it while I go on vacation. We're going to North Carolina, to the mountains, so it'll be slightly chilly. So I think this will be a good like layering piece to have like over a top or a t-shirt. And then I have 2 more projects I want to make. I want to make this like little jacket for the baby, and I want to make a top with Camellia's yarn. Camellia the brand, it's not the person's name. That is right here from Nashville. And that will just be a summer top with straps. Oh, right. We have some new viewers, new to the podcast. And I just wanted to put this out there that if you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like to hear more about, just leave a comment. And hopefully I'll be able to get to it on the next episode. I hope you all have a fabulous Mother's Day if you celebrate it. And what else is there? If you're in the US, Memorial Day. If you are in some other parts of the world, Labor Day. And whatever other national or religious or international holidays you might celebrate. Okay. I will be seeing you next time and I look forward to it. Bye.